Hang on. It's me. Surprise. The Wednesday man. I didn't play this Wednesday, honestly, because I got very distracted and completely lost track of time. And tonight, unfortunately, King is not feeling well, so I have stepped in to play some Subnautica, because I've been watching some videos about Subnautica, and it's gotten me hyped about it again. And Bannerlord is just in a state right now, and Subnautica seems to be one of the games that my computer and the stream mostly get along with. So we're going to play some Subnautica tonight. Give me just a moment here. I hope they were gonna play Lethal Company, but alas. Okay, got that taken care of. Let's see here. Woo! Okay. Yeah, so it's been a few weeks since we played Subnautica. I can't remember exactly, but it's been a moment. I forgot how to do stuff. Let's see. Yeah, this one, 12 hours, 19 minutes. 6th of December sounds right. I certainly haven't played it single player since. And now, yeah, what's up, Spike? Subnautical. Hang on, I got to get my screen share going here. All right, Spike, you're here. Can you let me know if you can hear anything if I go in window mode? But it's I have a thing. I want to get rid of the mouse in the middle of the screen problem that I keep having, but it says here to share audio, share a tab or screen instead. So I don't know. I just have to do this, I guess. And for some reason, my mouse will eternally be in the middle of the screen. I'm going to get rid of that. Getting started. So I'm eating spaghetti. Yeah, I was gonna try something, but it just straight up says that audio won't work if I do it the way I was gonna try. So I'm just doing it the normal way.
Passing 200 meters. Oxygen efficiency greatly decreased.
I'm playing this one again tonight because I've been watching some videos about a big mod project that a guy is working on called
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Call of the Void. The Void is an area of the map that I guess we'll maybe go look at or something at some point, but honestly, I'm terrified of it. It's basically the edge of the map. It's like the classic old school video game thing of like, if you swim too far out, the sharks will eat you, except that these are gigantic, translucent hammerhead worms and stuff. Oh yeah, here we are. I forgot we were in the lava zone. I don't remember what we were doing, though. I came down here to look for kyanite, if I remember correctly. Hey, get off of me. Nope. I gotta remember how to use the buttons. Yeah, these things, these little guys will drain the power on your vehicles, so it's best not to let them linger. Okay, I was down here looking for kyanite because I need that for a bunch of the mods that I need to make for the submarine. But I had gone in a little ways. Whoa, what are these? What are these? Are these eggs or are they just like lava nodules? I think these are just lava nodules. I'm going to keep moving. Yeah, so we're in a very cool. Oh, I think I'm going the wrong way. I need to go this way, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The other way. This is a very cool area. It's very hard to explore, at least for me, because it's terrifying. Hang on, let me see. I'm gonna see if I can close some stuff and make sure my computer's not like can make it run a little bit better. I need all those other things open. I suppose I could close Discord. Quit. Hey, I heard you get on there. Ooh, okay, power level is not great. I should probably go back. I need. Unless did I remember to bring extra? No. So open storage is empty. Do I have anything in my inventory? No, I did not bring extra power cells. Okay. Well, I came down here for something else that I think I already got. I don't remember. We have to go back to the base and reassess the situation because I straight up do not remember exactly what we're doing. I know I was working on like some mods for the prawn suit here and the Cyclops, I think. Or like working on building the Cyclops. Interacting with the ground in this game is bad. And it's not much better in the expansion below zero, which we will get to. That's a fun one. I've never actually beaten Sub-Zero, though. Jump. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, honestly, you're kind of right about that. The next dimension. It's not quite a dimension, but like, I guess I don't know if you've watched all of these or enough of them, but we ran into some. We've run into some. You, Warper, should leave me alone. We've run into some aliens. Okay, this is where we want to go because that is, I think, to another part of the lava zone, and I don't want to go there yet. This is where I want to be. Oh, fucking warpers everywhere. No! You must leave me alone. Grapple hook. Okay, good. Ah, he went to where I was. The fool. Yeah, but there's some alien stuff going on. Some big-time alien stuff going on. Obviously, all of these things would be aliens to us, all of these creatures, but there's straight up like, no, it's not blue lava. It is blue. It's brine, which is an actual deep sea thing. It's salt settling near the salt. Because salt is heavier than water, obviously, it being a mineral. It sinks, and so it collects at the bottom in brine pools and places in the ocean. I'm not a big like ocean marine life nerd, so I don't know all the details, but it's a thing, and because it's salt. It actually it's too much salt and too much of that. It's salt and other chemicals and stuff, and too much of it can actually send things into, if you swim in it or touch it too much, it can trigger septic shock, which is like too many bad chemicals like in your system. And so there's like, you can go on YouTube actually, and there's documentary footage from like the BBC of an eel and some other things like swimming into a brine pool to investigate like a dead fish to eat it, and the seal, and then the eel starts like spasming. See, now the blue brine, the difference here I'll explain. Blue brine is safe. We can actually swim in that. The green brine is bad, and you have to be inside something in order for it to not hurt you. And even then, I think it will still slowly damage your vehicle over time. All right, I need to remember how to get the fuck out of this place. Not shrooms. Those are misleading. Okay, this way. Yeah, so brine pools are bad. It's sort of like the undersea equivalent of like a tar pit or like a mud trap with terrestrial animals, like the La Brea tar pits in California, which is actually apparently very underwhelming if you really go there. Like visually, it kind of gets hyped up as this big thing, but like the brine pits are only like the tar pits are only like a couple of feet deep, and they don't actually have dinosaurs in them. That's a really big misconception. But they do have, because it's a geological site from way after the dinosaurs, but it is full of like wolves and bears and mammoths and like other kind of prehistoric mammals and stuff, which is really cool. I'm a big paleontologist, like an armchair paleontologist, historian person. I by no means am I professional or academically trained in any of these things. I just find it all super interesting. The Lost River Great Reef. Okay, that's where we'll want to come in with like the submarine. I gotta find where the hell I'm trying to get out of here though. The Lost River Grand Reef, the Grand Reef Cave. I hear you, Ghost Leviathan. Where the hell are you? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hang on, let me check my beacons here. Okay, I'm gonna turn the shrooms off because that's gonna get confusing because there's so many of those mushroom caves. Beacon, Lava Zone, Shallows Base, Grand Reef Cave, Lost River. Actually, you know what? Is the Grand Reef Cave. The Grand Reef Cave is where we want to go because that's not the one that everyone's like, oh, you can't get the submarine in through the Grand Reef. And I say, fuck that. Yes, you can. And I've done it. Because there is one really big fucking entrance to this place in, I believe, hey, there's the Ghost Leviathan all the way over there. It's a juvenile. Is a small one. Is very big compared to me, but is small compared to the adults, which are out in the void. Circling all the way back to that, and my ADHD ass getting sidetracked with a bunch of shit. The void, the outside of the map, basically, like the border of the map. Hey, you! Oh, he's going after that thing. The deterrent, or like the thing to keep you inside the map, are adult versions of that, which are absolutely fucking enormous. Maybe. I don't see here's the thing, Spike. I gotta tell you about this game a little bit. This isn't really a fighting game. And I actually kind of enjoy that. It's a nice change of pace, and here's why. This game was developed during this game's development, the Sandy Hook shootings happened. And so that kind of soured the developers on wanting to make a game heavily involving guns, which I think is fair. Obviously, video games are not real, and a normal person can separate those two things perfectly fine. But I can understand why they would feel sort of icky about it and not really want to do that. So they decided not to make any guns or anything, and the only weapon you get in this game is a knife. In addition, like as far as like what you can wield personally, you don't have a gun. You can ride it sort of. You can fight them. People, because the internet is what it is and people are what they are. People do make a point of killing all the Leviathans in the game just because they can, and it's like, guys, that's really actually quite tragic. You're doing you're giving them the buffalo treatment. Because straight up, this part of this planet we're on is one of the only places left on this planet where there is still life. Because no. Oh god, there are warpers everywhere. Escape! Oh no! Ooh, cutscene. Everything is going wrong.
Welcome
What?
aboard, Captain.
Ah,
You.
ah. God, everything is bad. So you can, yeah, they're warpers. That's what they are called, and that's what they do. So the one thing that in it you can fight the Leviathan. You can fight anything and kill anything. You just got to get a little creative with it. I have killed a juvenile ghost Leviathan in the past because it clipped up through the floor into the area that the base I was building was in an older save of this game. So I did have to kill that one because it was just right next to my house, and I was like, okay, well, this is a problem. But yeah, the warpers will warp you out the suit, and I think they might knife you a little bit with their scissor arms and stuff. But honestly, a lot of the really hazardous creature attacks in this game are not designed to be lethal immediately. They're lethal if you hang around. Because the way I don't know, even though there's obviously a lot of sci-fi shit going on in this game, it's on an alien planet and everything. They do a pretty good job, I think, of giving most of the creatures sort of you must simply stop doing this to me, Warper. Come back! Come back! Get out of my way, map. I can't see anything. Of I don't know, the animals sort of behaving the way animals would in some respects, where they're not animals in the wild aren't murderous killing machines. They're trying to survive. Predators in the wild don't battle each other for dominance. It's they usually will try and avoid fights wherever possible, because fights can be fucking, even if you'd survive the fight, you could get an infection, or you could break a limb or lose a tooth or something like that. So carnivores are actually, generally speaking, the most chill fucking animals. Oh yeah, the fucking warper spoilies, they're not completely natural. They are artificial creations of those aliens that I was talking about. Well, actually, at some point during this playthrough, go to a place where they build them, or where they used to build them, because all the aliens is gone. Because again, getting stuck on another tangent because my ADHD ass. There's only a few places on this planet where there's life still, because a virus has infected basically everything else on the other parts, and so there's most of the planet is what is referred to as a dead zone, or the dead zone. And there's this crater, volcano, rise that we're on in Subnautica, and then there is the polar, the Arctic polar region in Below Zero, the expansion. And there's I'm sure they've probably kind of got it in their back pocket that there's some other places with life on, because I know they're working on what everyone keeps saying is Subnautica 2, but what the devs keep trying to remind everybody is what they said is the next game in the Subnautica universe. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be Subnautica 2 or whatever. Yeah, the warpers are freaky. The Leviathans are freaky. They won't try and kill you unless you stick around, and they keep attacking you. They'll attack you once and let you go. And they'll follow you around, and that doesn't mean they're still not freaky as fuck. The Ghost Leviathans, I think, are really cool, and like I said, the adults, the only place you find the adults is out in the void, which is the edge of the map. There are a couple of juveniles in some of the deeper places. We saw one in the Lost River where we just came from with all the brine pools, and then there's a couple other ones around the map at the mouths of big caves and stuff. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I got to heal because I got warped, so I need to do a little that. And I'm just going to hit all of the wrong buttons for a few minutes while we get this. While I try and remember how to do things. I need to take those. I've been playing Ark Survival Evolved a lot the last week. which I would love to play on stream, but I think because my computer already has problems with StreamYard and playing games at the same time, I don't think it would work because Ark is a much bigger game than Subnautica. All right, I need to figure out what I am doing. I think I was trying to build. What's in here? Just some stuff. What's in here? More some stuff. All right, so yeah, and we also saw a little fucking vision of a thing saying, "What are you?" Which we've seen something similar to that before, which is kind of part of this game's version of a story. All right, I gotta kind of get my bearings here. I think I went down there to get kyanite because I don't have anything in my inventory. So what I better do is I better get some power, get some a couple of power cells. If I don't have them, I need to. Okay, I've got one. I should make another one though. Also, I don't need all of these batteries. I will take 4 batteries, and I should make another power cell so that I can recharge it, because the fucking the things that I need for it will require. What are my upgrades do I have for this guy right now? The depth module. All right, here we go. Blueprints. Let's see. I need prawn suit stuff. I know there were upgrades over here. Yeah, see, I want to make the thermal reactor so I can charge this thing while I'm out and about. Yeah, and then I think I need kyanite also for Cyclops stuff. Oh, no, I don't. Well, I'll need it for fucking upgrades for the Cyclops, though. So, okay, I'm going to go make another power cell quick. I think I've got the materials for it. I don't remember what all I need. I suppose I could make use of the feature that they grandfathered into this game from Below Zero and mark the blueprints. Oh, yeah, I've even got silicone rubber. I think I just saw that. Perfect. I'm going to go grab a couple more batteries because I've got a bunch of extras. All right, cool. Then I can make a power cell. So then I'll have 2 power cells for my prawn suit while I'm out and about. Yeah, so the stasis rifle, this is the only thing like built into the game that's like a gun. And it doesn't even kill anything. It's just it puts things into a temporary brief stasis so you can scan them or escape. And they're the combo, the stasis rifle thermal knife combo is the most common thing people will go on like Leviathan hunting with. Like I said, I don't really do the Leviathan hunting. 1, because they're terrifying, and 2, because I don't know, it's part of an ecosystem, and I don't want to, I don't like look. I'm trying to keep my base like as compact as possible, and I had a mod for a while. It doesn't unfortunately work with like the last major update, where I could scrap like all the debris from like our ship and like the other ships that have crashed and stuff. But I've got a radio message to listen to. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad. All right, yeah, fine. This map is a mod too. This does not come with the game. But I just like, oh my god, it's so hard to know where all the really awful places are unless you can kind of scout stuff around, because there's a couple of real big areas that are super, super dangerous, and they're just full of leviathans, mostly the Reaper variant, which is the most aggressive and scariest one. All right, here we go.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
We're going to go back down to the lava zone. Because I need that kyanite before I can do a lot of the late game stuff and really get into the deep places and like beat the game. Okay, I need to make sure I'm going the right way. Oh, cool. Just sort of going the right way automatically. That's fun. Also, here, let me get you a good look at the prawn suit. Stalker, you better not be. He's not coming to me. Here we go. Here he is. What did we name him? I can't remember. Scrimps. Because he's the color of a scrimp. Yep, we got Scrimps and then Scooty Puff Jr. as the sea moth, which is my favorite vehicle in both games. We're gonna build the big ass submarine. Oh yeah, I forgot. I always forget that it actually has that when you rename it, it actually puts it on the side of the vehicle. We're gonna build the gigantic submarine. The Cyclops, but that takes some time, and it'll be easier to get, because what we're gonna have to do is I think we may have to build a base deeper, but I don't like having to build two bases in this game because it's honestly not that big of a map. But there are the shallows are not deep enough for the Cyclops, just like straight up. It will not fit in the safe shallows. Down we go into the depths. If you get the boost module for the jetpack, you can really just fucking coast through these dives. It's really nice. Look at that. Just going so much faster than it was going on the way up. But that's why we have the grappling claw, or the grappling hook. Oh, be gone with you. You see, because we got gravity working on our side too, so I can just kind of coast through this whole thing. The Lost River is this way. Oh, that was a fun frame rate drop. Down we go. But I only used 2% of my energy so far. Yeah, well, especially like, because the one thing I really hope that they make better in whatever the next game is going to be. I mean, and I do really hope that it is like a Subnautica, like a direct sequel. That would be really cool because I really like this game. Maybe add some more game mechanics to it. Maybe, I don't know, do something. Maybe, I don't know. There's a whole lot of things they could do because it does exist in like, it's a game series that I had never heard of until I played this game. But this developer also made a game series called Natural Selection, which is like an XCOM kind of like aliens, aliens versus space marines sort of like turn-based tactical shooter. And that's actually set in the same universe or whatever as this. So like there's precedent for them like doing more combat focused stuff. Oh, hi, bud. Okay, I gotta get down here without him seeing me. So we're gonna go down here, drop through the hole. Wow. But also to answer your question earlier, Spike, you can ride them with the grappling hook. Let me see. I'll see what I can do. Here's a big old skull. Yeah, here we go. Hi, friend. I gotta not be like at its mouth. I gotta be on its back somewhere to get it to. I missed. I missed again. I know I've done this before. There we go. I've latched on. Ow! You better swim. Okay, this is not working. He's stuck. Whee! Okay, well, one thing I need to do is I need to repair the damage to my. I need to repair the damage to this bad boy before we mess around with him, because I really don't want it to blow up down here, because that would be bad, and I would almost certainly drown before I got to the surface. No, sir, you must leave me alone for but a moment. I'm going to go somewhere where you are too small or too big to get me. Alright, great. Repair? Do I have... I better have my... I better have my fucking repair tool with me if I don't, I'm a fool. Yep. And we're gonna ride it. Although I gotta say, this may not be the most conducive environment in which to try and ride this thing, because it's in like a little tiny cave. It might be easier to try and find the one that's actually like out in the ocean. Not one of the giant ones, because fuck that. But the other juvenile that is. There we go. I just need to stay behind you. Don't. It keeps putting me in front of his mouth, and I want to be behind it. Drag me. Here we go. Whee! See, and if I hit him with my little drill, it'll keep him from turning around to bite me, because he'll. Yeah! I said, yeah! Success. We wrangled ourselves a juvenile ghost leviathan. You. Hey, everybody, back off. There we go. All right, sweet. Mission accomplished. I think we'll still have more success with the one out in the ocean, just because it'll have more room to move around. But yeah, so like I don't know. One of the things about Sub-Zero, so I think Sub-Zero honestly has cooler biomes for the most part. They're oriented like there's a lot more verticality to the levels, like obviously top to bottom here, but like it's just sort of a big empty tunnel. Whereas in Sub-Zero, there's all kinds of cool like crevices and canyons and stuff like that you can dive through and stuff, which is awesome. Here's another big old skeleton. I hate that it has hands, not because it's freaky, but just because I think it looks very silly. Yeah, hey, below zero, cooler. The downside to below zero, though, is that because it's like kind of like playing on this like, oh, it's in the Arctic gimmick. There are mandatory, like there's a lot more above water sections, like land-based sections, and like the way the player interacts with terrain is very clumsy and not fun in these games. And so and part of the reason I get I've always gotten burnt out on Sub-Zero is before I finish it, is because the overland sections are very tedious in my opinion, and like And because like, oh, you can freeze to death, you have to find like a special winter suit. But in order to find the winter suit, you have to do it. You have to go above on the icebergs and stuff. So like you freeze to death. I just don't like it really. In that, I don't like that aspect of it. I think there's a lot of really good, cool stuff about Below Zero, though. Hey, we got a YouTube viewer here. The original had some moments. The original what? I'm sorry, the chat. I've lost track of what we were talking about. I've lost track. Okay. We're doing way better now. We're down here with 92 battery. I don't know why we had so little coming down here. Maybe I probably had been doing a lot of other exploring elsewhere before we... Sky has memory loss. Whee! All right, well, we're down here for some kyanite, and hopefully we don't get absolutely fucking destroyed by the sea dragon. Which is honestly my least favorite of the Leviathans. Oh, $1 trillion? Absolutely not. Hell no. If I had to go into like the deep water for like if I had to do it on Earth where I knew that it was safe, yes. But on an alien planet, fucking no. If you were offered $1 trillion, would you land this job that you're playing? No, I would not. It's not worth it. I don't want to die. Hey, there's some kyanite. Excellent. I don't want to die. Also, this game is in a setting where they're like the governments are like corporate dystopias. So when you are mining stuff, the company is like racking up a tab on you. Here we go. This is what I want. I hope I don't alert the sea dragon. I haven't heard it yet. So I think we're okay. The sea dragon is the silliest looking Leviathan in this game, and it kind of annoys me because I wish it was cooler. It's almost really dope. It's almost really cool, but it has big goofy hands. And I get that they're going for like dragon claw thing, but it looks too silly. It doesn't need to look like a fucking edgelord. Oh. It doesn't need to look like it's fucking the Punisher or anything like that, but it would just, I don't know, it looks dumb. I prefer if they were like big old flippers or something, big fins. There we go. Alright, great. I just gotta keep checking for the sea dragon. I just gotta keep checking. Because it's truly terrifying. It is fucking enormous. Yeah. Yeah, the arms are a little goofy, and I get what they're going for with the look. I do get it. You know, they're going for the dragon forelimbs thing because it does look like a dragon in a lot of respects. But I wish that there's some really cool like concept. There's some really good concept art of like unused Leviathans, and like they could have taken the fins. Hey. You know what? I think I need to scan. Oh, there's a fucking warper over there. Great. And I'm trying to stay near the cliff walls so that if I get lost, I can just follow the cliff back to the door or the opening or whatever. But Dude, this is... I've never had so little kyanite.
Welcome aboard,
On
Captain.
a playthrough, like by the entrance. I've never... It's never really been something I've had to like search around for that much. There's some more over there. Great. Stay above the warper. No sea dragon yet. This is good. Because despite the fact that I think the sea dragon is very goofy, it is also freaking terrifying. Because it's just absolutely fucking enormous. Warper, don't come closer. Stay over there. Just gotta keep looking. Warper, go away. You better not be coming over here. I assume Watson, Victor, that English is not your first language. But if I understand what you're saying, the warpers are bad. The warpers are bad. Wow, I can't believe we haven't even heard the sea dragon yet. Yeah. Yes, they are. Yeah, I have beaten this game. I think just once. Gotten through the whole thing. But I have beaten it before. Hi, everyone, leave me alone. So I'm aware of the story and stuff and what's going on with all that, but I don't want to spoil too much for other people if they haven't. I know the game's been out for a really long time. Like, I think full release was even back in like 2018 or something like that. It was like 6 years ago. But well, you know what? If he, I'm far away from him, presumably. Yeah, I'm sure we'll run into the sea dragon eventually, Spike. We'll have to come back down here for a couple, like the fucking like final base, alien base that we have to go to. Is in here somewhere, so we'll be back. I want to try and scan one of these magma lizards though before we leave, so I can get him from Warper. Oh no, he got me. No. Yeah, go. Be gone. Stick it to him. Alright. How much kyanite? Okay, yeah, I'm pretty much full. That'll do me. That should be plenty to finish the game. Alright. Magma lizard. Wait. You better not. Zapped him. Can I scan you? I must already have done that. And now I'm safe in my bubble, because if anyone tries... to get in here, they will be affected by the stasis field. I'm out. Oh yeah, the deep water stuff. I have never actually, Victor. I have never been out into the void in this game because it's too dark and there's no ground and I can't orient myself, and that is extremely scary to me. I also have never picked a fight with a Reaper Leviathan because that seems foolish. I mostly try and avoid the Leviathans if I can, honestly, because that's what they're there to do, is to kind of, I don't know. I get that people would, like the challenge or whatever, but I don't know. I think you have to play smarter if you don't just kill everything, Like something that I see a lot of. I don't see a lot of people I've watched like streams of this game doing is like when they're moving around in like the Seamoth in like really dangerous places where there are like big reapers and stuff. They don't stay. They like swim up in the middle of like the water, like completely exposed, unable to see anything or have any orientation to anything beyond like some marker, like some beacons. And I'm just sitting here like, if you stay near the ground, one, you get to see all of the stuff that's down there, which is cool. And also, two, you can orient yourself. And on the rare occasion that something really shitty does happen, you can like hide somewhere in a cave or what have you, All right, so we got our kyanite. Fantastic. Also, yeah, and the other thing too with this game is you just gotta learn where the safe places are. Learn where the safe places are, and don't go to the places that aren't safe if you can help it. And if you do have to go to those places, stay near the periphery, stay near the edges if you don't want to go in and explore, because it's easier to get away. You just gotta play smart. You just gotta use your noggin. A lot of people just kind of are, especially Western video games, are so like brute force, bludgeon your way through every obstacle. Which, as a big guy, and somebody who in like an R fantasy RPG or something does like to run around with a fucking big ass greatsword bonking people. I do like when games reward and encourage thoughtfulness while you're playing, and it's not just a turn my brain off and veg out thing, which, there's days for that, but as somebody who considers gaming to be kind of one of their primary hobbies, does not. I don't think if you only play veg out games like that, it doesn't count as a hobby. I don't think, because you're not like going above and beyond to engage with it. It's like watching TV. I maybe this is a hot take. I don't certainly intend it to be, and I don't care if it is or not. Really, I'm not here to hot take. What opinion of yours is people have you like this? And it's the Tangled meme with the guy with all the swords. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that with my hot take is that I don't think watching TV or movies is a hobby either, unless you're doing it for the artistic like appreciation, the actively engaging your brain while you're doing it, and not just checking out and being entertained, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. I just don't think it counts as a hobby if that's like your primary mode of consuming media. Hobbies require engagement and active participation, not passive participation, in my opinion. Oh, Victor, you missed it earlier. I went for a ride on the juvenile ghost here at request of a Twitch chatter. You missed it. A grappling hooked onto his back and he dragged me around the cave for a while. It was fun. Also, maybe this is also a hot take for anyone who's aware of like the modding community around this game. There's a mod where somebody brought this thing like made this thing alive, or like, you know, put a living one out in the void, and I think that's very stupid. Yeah, you know, I try and be more of an enjoyer than a fan. Yeah, it was great. I had a good old time. But somebody brought that skeleton thing back to life. Like, not back to life, but they made one alive out in the void, and I think it's dumb. Because, one, it's way too big for the size of this map, and everything on it is just too fucking huge. And it's a cool design, like concept art wise and stuff. It's really rad, but it just, and it's also it's very silly. It doesn't make sense. Like, there's not enough life left on this planet for something that size to be able to sustain itself. Like, it just wouldn't be able to get the nutrients. You know, there's no prey. There's no prey animal. There's not enough like prey species of a large enough size for a carnivore like that to be able to sustain. Ah, crab squid! My favorite creature in this game, though, straight up. Oh no, he knocked out. He did the emp. He did the emp, and we're stuck now. Go away. Yeah, I can actually. If you want, Spike, I can post. I can find some videos and stuff on it, and post them in the Discord. Because there's tons of video. There's the mod. Somebody made a mod. Like I said, brought it back. It's called. The mod has been abandoned, which I honestly, it sucks for the people who are making it, but I honestly think it's for the best. Because like the other thing is, there's the whole like, it doesn't make sense for something like that to be alive given what we know about the state of this planet. You know, maybe like when you scan that fossil, it says like this thing was alive a million years ago or whatever. It's like, okay, sure, I could believe that, like when there was bigger, more bountiful, like large prey species for it to sustain itself on, sure, I'll buy that. That's cool. But given the way things are here now, no way. Dude, you got to stop following me. I gave you the drill, okay? You gotta go. When I give you the drill, that means you go. And it's a very cool design. Like the way that like the design that they were like, okay, we're gonna take this skeleton and put flesh on it. And I think they did a really good job with that. But also, it doesn't add anything to the game. It's just a novelty. Like, there's no mechanics built around it. It's too big for anyone to survive or run away from. It's only ever out in the void. And, like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, why is this here? And then on top of that, my other kind of gripe with it is the fact that I lost my train of thought when careening off the cliff. Is that it ruins the mystery? You know, like I get that people want to know these things and they want to have answers to this stuff, and like, but I hate fandoms, just straight up. I hate fandoms. Because fandoms demand answers to everything, and I think that's bad for storytelling. Not everything in world building, not everything has an answer. Like in the real world, we've forgotten more than we know. You know, at least it feels like that way. If you read about history and stuff and like approach science and things like that from a proper, or, you know, at least as best as you can, a proper mindset perspective, you understand that to actually be a smart person, you have to admit that there's lots of shit that you don't know. And there's so many things about history and stuff that we don't know. And honestly, there's so many things that we think we know about history that have been proven wrong. You know, we've known they've been wrong for decades. You know, for some stupid ass reason, not to go off on a sort of pseudo political tangent, But for some stupid-ass reason, here in the United States, we still are taught that Christopher Columbus was the first European to, like, discover America. And we've known that's not true since, like, the 1970s. You know, it's like 60-some years, and we're still teaching people this stuff that we do is just patently incorrect. And so I don't want to know everything. I think having it be bones is cooler because it lets you feel it's scarier and more dramatic because it lets your mind fill in the gaps, which is what good horror does. And while this is not a horror game, which is also a misconception, it does have terror elements to it. You know, that primal, like, fight or flight survival based terror, not jump scares and murder machines and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the revived Gargantuan Leviathan mod was dumb in my opinion, and I am glad that it's not a thing anymore. I need a place to put all this stuff. I'll just put it here for now. But yes, Victor, the crab squid. The crab squid is my favorite creature in this game. It's so silly. It looks like it could be a Muppet, and I'm always about Muppets. So it's got big old eyes, a big dumb head, spindly little legs. It's great. Let's get rid of those notifications. All right, so now I've got that stuff. I need a plan for what I was doing. Blueprints. I want the prawn suit thermal reactor. And we want prawn suit depth modules. Why aren't those here? Maybe those are out here. Make those here. Prawn suit modules. Prawn suit depth module Mark 1. Where do I upgrade the depth module on the prawn suit? Does it only have a Mark 1? Give me that. I can't believe it only has one. Ah, here we go, Mark II. Okay, I knew it. Titanium kyanite. Oh, not salt. Get that out of here. All right, so where is it? Prawn suit mod depth module Mark II. There it is. 2 lithium. Oh, I don't have any lithium. Oh, you know what? Okay. I don't have any titanium or anything either. Okay, so I got to go get this stuff. Hacha! What's in here? We can put the stasis rifle in here. I don't need that right now. I'm going to put these batteries back. The prong suit. All right, we need to get in the prawn.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Because I need to get some lithium and some titanium, and I'm pretty sure I can get both of those things in ore deposits in a mushroom cave. So we're going to go to a mushroom cave. My old friend. Whee! Whee! Ah! Oh, hello, brother.
Just me.
I'm doing a streaming thing. I can't hear. What are you saying?
I said I can leave.
Yeah, I'm a little tied up, but if you're, I mean, I'm gonna be doing this for a bit, but I don't know. You can fucking hang out. I don't care. It's casual. Wee. Oh, I'm an idiot. I completely overshot. Momentarily distracted and completely missed where we were going. But also, I was just having a fun time flying around. Reefbacks. Another one of my favorite creatures in this game. The reefback. So cool. Hello, friend. Hello, friend. Oh, he's moving. Now I'm going to fall off. Look, there we are, right there. Down we go. And I do not fear the crab. What are these? These are crab snakes. Yeah, I think these are called crab snakes. I do not fear them now that I'm in a prawn suit. What's these? I think that's gold. Yeah, that looks like gold. That's not what we want. We're after lithium and titanium, and I'm pretty sure I've seen both down here. Hoi! Leave me alone. That's more gold. We don't need gold. Stuck. I'm certain I've seen these things down here. Okay, this is where we came from. I'm gonna do a little repair. Do a little repair ski. I swear as I seen a titanium ore vein down here before. Titanium and lithium. Aha, there's lithium. Fantastic. Doing some drilling. It's like Armageddon and Bruce Willis's expert driller character man who is somehow smarter than NASA scientists who don't know how to make a drill. It's very funny. It's a Michael Bay movie, and it's just such a nerd bash fest. It's so funny. It's such a bad movie. Bruce Willis, working blue-collar man, knows how to make a space drill better than NASA scientists. I've got our lithium. I'm not going to spend a ton of time down here looking for titanium because titanium will be very easy to find. That is magnetite. We don't need that. Or maybe lead. Either way, we don't need it. I'm after titanium. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time down here looking for it because I do know it's found in abundance in many places. So hey, look, there's more lithium. What was over there? Was that titanium? Titanium? No, more gold. Okay, I'm going to leave this place. And I will look for... Ow, I'm sorry, fish. What they need to do is they need to make a sequel to Armageddon about Rather than it being about like drilling in space, it needs to be about the great strong bad's dream job, which is being a space whale scrubber. He has a whole email about it. How he wants to be a space. How if he could be anything, he would be a space whale scrubber. Which, while space whales sound very cool, being a scrubber seems like it would be like, why is your dream job hazardous manual labor, strong bad? Why? Speaketh to me. Explain. America, explain. Kansas, not Arkansas. One of my favorite classic memes. He really does. I mean, and to be fair, they're cool. Spacefaring cetaceans would be sweet. I just don't know if I'd want to like dedicate my whole life to scrubbing one. You know, like let me get like some good looking. Let me do like a swim along with it. But I don't want to like be on its back with like a brush, trying to scrub barnacles off it for like the rest of my days. That sounds boring as hell. Right, I gotta unload this lithium. Also, I have some shit in a locker where I was supposed to be putting all my special stuff, and I think I'm just going to throw it on the floor. Okay, those are... I don't have enough storage. I don't have any titanium to make more storage. So yeah, I'm just going to put these things on the floor for now and just keep them on way because Purgles. Oh, in Star Wars or whatever. Yeah, I haven't kept up with the Star Wars shows. I'm not much of a TV guy, honestly. I watched the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian and I liked it, but I haven't had the money for a Disney Plus subscription in a few years. And honestly, I don't know. I really liked the first two seasons of The Mandalorian, and then they brought Grogu back, and I was kind of just like, what? Can we move on to the next chapter of this man's life? I get that Grogu is very popular, but I don't know. I felt like the first two seasons made for a really nice, condensed, consolidated story arc, and then they were like kind of tried to start tacking stuff onto it, and it just kind of got to be a little clumsy feeling, in my opinion. And just honestly, I haven't been that stoked about the Disney Star Wars stuff. I only saw The Last Jedi and Rogue One for the movies, and Rogue One was fucking sick. I don't care what anybody says about that movie. That movie was fucking awesome. Rogue One ruled. It felt like a classic Star Wars movie, which was great. I loved that. Yeah, I think it's a problem with Dave Filoni's writing. Rogue. Let's see. Honestly, the reason why I stopped watching is because the material just pulled armor. I think I understand what you're saying, Victor. And I'm sorry for not being very good at understanding you and meeting you halfway. But yeah, Rogue One, I don't know if it was the best Star Wars movie because I still really love Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi might be my favorite Star Wars movie. But Rogue One was really good. And I know that there's a lot of, like, it had some weird stuff happen, last minute rewrites and things like that happen, but I still think they put together a really fucking great movie with Rogue One. Which one did they introduce in that? Was it the Alan Tudyk robot? Because he was great. He was very good in that role. Yeah, the K series was very cool. And I don't know. I like the aesthetic of it felt like an old Star Wars movie. It's something that I read. So I only watched from like the main, like the Skywalker movies. I only watched The Force Awakens from the new trilogy, and it was fun. I liked it, but as I sit on it longer, the more I realize it was kind of a stupid movie. Because it is just like they're trying to lean into the whole it rhymes thing, but it's like, no, this doesn't rhyme. This is like a cover. This is like you're doing your version of a movie that already exists. And it was just, it's a bit weird, and I was just, and like Rey could have been a really cool character, but they did the Mary Sue thing with her where like she can do her force powers and stuff like right away, and she doesn't have to learn how to use them or anything. And it was just like, I don't like the way that the Force was portrayed in that trilogy. I think it was very weird. I do think it was like they could have brought Palpatine back and the Sith back in a way. Well, no, they didn't do the Skywalker thing because Luke doesn't have any Force powers at all in the first movie. He doesn't know how to use any of them. He has to go through a whole like movie and a half before he actually starts using his Force powers. He has a process. Whereas Rey, she's doing Force stuff like halfway through the first movie. So there is a difference. And when you're telling her to tell a movie in 3 stories, you can't wait until the very end of the 3rd movie to reveal those powers. Like, so I think there is a difference. There is, and like, yeah, I mean, Luke Skywalker is a fairly rote protagonist archetype, but that's the point. Like, George Lucas went into writing Star Wars with that intention fully. It is not a matter of laziness or anything like that. He wrote this story. He wrote Luke Skywalker to be the coming of age hero archetype. Rey is trying to be that, and it sucks for Daisy Ridley because I would have loved to see Star Wars. I would have loved to see those movies be very good. It would have been really cool. And they did do some cool things. I do like that they brought one of my other big complaints about the Disney Star Wars stuff is that the Sith have taken a back seat. And I love me some Sith. Oh, no. I'm not saying that Luke is like one of the most like this perfectly written character or anything like that, Spike. I'm just saying that he does have a process of learning. You know, he's not the one fight like in The Force Awakens. Rey has a fucking lightsaber fight with Kylo Ren. Luke doesn't have a lightsaber fight with Darth Vader until the end of The Empire Strikes Back, and he gets his ass handed to him. So Luke has an arc. He has an actual tangible story arc. It follows a very traditional arc. It's not that interesting. It's not that original, but it's fully fleshed out. It's a complete arc. Rey skips steps in favor of just having a girl with powers and having like a female protagonist who's powerful and stuff, which is one, not good feminist storytelling, and 2, it's just not good storytelling fundamentally. So, you know, and like I miss the Sith. I don't like the First Order. I think the First Order is stupid. I don't like Snoke is also stupid. the Star Destroyers of the First Order are stupidly designed, and the Stormtrooper armor is dumb. One of the things that really started to sour me on the Disney era of Star Wars was reading. Hang on, I've got a message here.
This may be your only communication.
I'll continue my rant in a moment.
We can't send a rescue ship all the way out there, so Aurora, you're just gonna have to meet us halfway. We've uploaded blueprints to the ship's computer.
Sandwich run, you in?
Yeah, give me a second. Black box data shows the high security terminal in the captain's quarters is still functional.
Becky's leaving like in 5 minutes.
All right, well, tell Becky I'll just take the regular.
Regular.
Yeah, she'll know what I mean.
The regular.
Code should be-
She doesn't?
Just tell her the regular, dude.
Okay. I say regular, and she's like, what's the regular? I have to come all the way back up here.
The code should be 2679. The regular's just a ham and cheese.
Okay, would you just say ham and cheese?
Ham and cheese.
Okay.
I'm curious to what your answers are there, Spike, but I got to finish my little rant. So one of the things that I thought was really fucking stupid, especially about the way they redesigned the Stormtroopers, is they were inspired by iPods and iPhones, and I was like, you're missing the whole fucking point of Star Wars. Aesthetically, it's not supposed to look like sleek future. It's supposed to look used and practical and rusty and nasty and like people actually live in the setting, the used future that Star Wars made so popular in media. And it just completely fucking misses that. Just completely fucking misses it. And I was so annoyed by that. I really don't like the way the Stormtroopers look. They're too sleek. They're too rounded. They're not harsh enough. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. And Dave Filoni, I have mixed feelings about Dave Filoni because he does a great job with Star Wars, and like I know he's like George Lucas's like protege or whatever. And he did some really good stuff with The Mandalorian, and I know a lot of people love his cartoons that he's done. I tried watching both of them and could just not get into them. And I say this, I don't mean this as a criticism. I think it's perfectly fine that, or like is as like judgmental or whatever. I think it's perfectly fine if people like those shows. There's nothing wrong with adults watching like children's media, as far as I'm concerned. You can watch whatever the fuck you want, but those are kids shows, and they suffer from a lot of the problems that 30-minute animated children's shows suffer from, or just 30-minute animated shows in general, is that they have to try and tell a full standalone story in a like 25-minute time slot, and you can't do that without cutting narrative corners and having characters have to make leaps in logic that they wouldn't really be able to make otherwise. And that stuff really takes me out of it. As somebody who, when it comes to storytelling and like the types of stories and things I enjoy, is a stickler for detail and consistency, that type of stuff really bothers me. And I get why they do it. It's part of the medium. It's fine. It's not really even a criticism. It's just a preference. And if other people don't have that problem and can enjoy those things, they absolutely can. And I will not. I'm glad that you like that and have found something that you enjoy. That's awesome. But they're just not for me. And Dave Filoni's dialogue writing especially is very basic and very generic. And the dialogue in his shows is not that engaging to me. And I find even in The Mandalorian, I kind of found that to be the case, especially in action scenes where it's just kind of people rattling off the same dialogue you hear in every action scene in every movie or every TV show or whatever. Yeah, and like Dave Filoni does a great job with the same stuff that George Lucas did a great job with, which is like the spirit of Star Wars and the message of Star Wars and the feeling of Star Wars. But yeah, he does, I think, suffer from some of the same weaknesses that George suffered from, which is not very good care. George really benefited from his wife being an editor on the original trilogy, and he did not have that with the sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy. But I also think one of the problems he ran into with the prequel trilogy is George. It's kind of what we're seeing with people like Hideo Kojima right now in video games, where it's like they've built up such a reputation and such a cult of personality around them to some extent. Now, George is a very humble guy, so he's not somebody who like engaged with a lot of that stuff. But you get to a certain point where other people have so much respect for you that they won't say no to your bad ideas. I think that's something that happened with the prequel trilogy. Is there were very few people, like everybody, they trusted George too much, and no one ever went, "Hey, George, do you think we should maybe rethink this particular idea because it's kind of silly and maybe it would make more sense?" Like, I'm straight up convinced. Like, I don't think that it's actually the case in the movies because obviously we've seen them, but I am just straight up convinced that the Darth Jar Jar thing is real. I think that was going to be what was going to happen. And you can see, and I think because George had kind of planned out the story with Jar Jar being the sort of reverse Yoda, he had to, and how unpopular Jar Jar was, how much people fucking hated that character. He had to backpedal on it. He had to change what he was going to do. And I guess who knows? It's a total conspiracy tinfoil hat shit. But like, I don't know. I kind of believe it. I kind of believe it because like Jar Jar, who is like this very important character in the first film, just disappears like by the second movie. He's just like, he's in it for like 10 minutes or something. Like, he's just gone. And I think it was just the reaction that people had to that character was just so strong that George had to kind of change his plans. Obviously, again, tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff. So maybe it's not true, but I don't know, man. If Star Wars is supposed to rhyme and the different trilogies are all supposed to have similar themes and character archetypes and stuff, Jar Jar fits that really well. He's the kind of bumbling idiot who maybe actually is much smarter than he seems and shit like that. So who fucking knows, man? Like, are they really going to have exiled Jar Jar because he was kind of dumb and like was clumsy? That feels extreme. To exile someone to the surface, like basically an alien environment, because he tripped a couple times and maybe broke a few things. Like, that's a lot. That's a pretty harsh punishment for something like that. And it's not like we ever learn or that it's established that like the Gungans they're so close to extinction that like the Quarians in Mass Effect, where it's like they're so close to extinction that every single life is vital, and even if someone's in exile, their children can come back to live with the colony or whatever. We never learn if there's anything like that in like Gungan society, so we have no idea what's going on there. I need to find some titanium ore. I'm trying to remember where that will be. I bet you I can find some in the Sparse Reef down here, down to the southwest. All right, Spike, I gotta know, who are your top 5 Jedi? I was way more into Star Wars before the Disney stuff, so I'm into like the old Disney lore or the old Star Wars lore, not necessarily so much the comic books. But I played a lot of the old Star Wars: The Old Republic for a number of years in a roleplay guild, and I played a Sith Juggernaut, and wound up rising to the rank of War Master in the guild and being like one of the five members of the Iron Hand of our like little Sith order. So I did a lot during that period because I was heavily involved in running the guild. I had to really learn a lot more about Star Wars. Oh, Victor, I am also streaming on Twitch right now, and I have someone in the Twitch chat, Spike, who says, we said Fred at about 10 minutes ago when I was talking about Luke's story arc, he said, "I'm going to keep my mouth shut because Luke wouldn't even make my top 5 Jedi or even Star Wars characters." And so I want to know who his top 5 are. Who are like your top 5 Jedi and your top 5 Star Wars characters? I'm curious. I like talking about this stuff, even if people have differing opinions. We can disagree about these things and still have a wonderful chat. Because I don't have like an encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars, but I did get really into it for a number of years. So there's like lots of characters that I'm not that familiar with. Like I didn't really read the books or anything. My sort of dive into the lore of Star Wars was mostly through like wikis and things like that. So like I'm not super familiar firsthand with a lot of the characters, but like there's a lot of names I'll recognize and stuff. Like obviously, like I recognized Kylo immediately. I was like, Kylo Ren, you mean Jason Solo, right? Because he's just Jason Solo. He's just Jason Solo. And honestly, Jason Solo is a more interesting character. I do like Kylo's lightsaber, though. I know a lot of people thought it was stupid. As a lover of a broadsword, I love the weird little vents, the stupid little vents on the sides of Kylo's lightsaber. Awesome. Awesome look. Now, I could swear there were some titanium nodules down here. Another good bet would be the mushroom forest. I could also just look this up and I wouldn't have to just like fucking putz around looking for these things. But this is more fun. I want to explore. Where am I? Ooh, I think I'm getting close to a very bad spot. I'm not going to go over there. That's ominous. What? Oh, we're just in the sports reef. Never mind, we're fine. Okay, there's tons of quartz. Tons of quartz around here, and I have not found any titanium nodules. Grappling hook, don't fall. Grapple. Okay, well, I'm on the ground anyways. Aha! Oh, no, that's lithium. Dude, I could swear there was titanium nodes around here. Okay, well, I guess we're in the Grand Reef now, so I might as well just fucking look around here for some titanium. I can't believe these are proving to be so difficult to find. These are like everywhere. Oh, getting some nice frame rate there. Spike, I don't know if you're writing it up right now, but I'm really curious about your list of characters. I honestly don't know if I could put one together because I don't have enough of like a comprehensive knowledge of like all of the characters. It would mostly be like out of the characters that I know, which ones are my favorites. But also, maybe this is a hot take too, or maybe this is just me wrong. But I think the Dark Horse Star Wars comics are really bad. In general, I think Dark Horse does not have good writers. Dark Horse comics are bad, but I don't know. I just kind of struggle to read comic books. I think for like kind of the same reasons I struggle with like animation. It's just like the things the medium has to do in order to tell its stories. It has to take like just to cut too many narrative corners and take leaps of logic, and I can't deal with it. Oh my goodness, I'm getting such bad frame rate problems all of a sudden. I'm probably going to play for like another 30 minutes and call it a night because I need to run an errand before it gets too late. I want Okay, you know what? There has to be an easier place to get titanium than the Lost River. I'm not going all the way down here. No fast travel, which is fine. I just really thought I would find a titanium deposit by now, and I just absolutely haven't. Qui-Gon Jinn, definitely. 100% agree. And Anakin too. When you add like context from the novel, like the visual, like the novelizations and stuff, and like the stuff that they do add in Clone Wars, they do add a lot of shit to Anakin's character that makes him way more interesting. And like I can definitely see what George was going for, but again, he's not a very good writer, so he just doesn't communicate it well. You know, I think that was one of the real problems with the prequel trilogy is George just is not a good enough writer to communicate the complex ideas he was trying to, which like great concepts though. I love like the ideas of the prequel trilogy. Like straight up, people think it's boring, but the fact that that Phantom Menace begins with a trade, like a war potentially breaking out over a trade dispute is like one of the most realistic things Star Wars has ever done. Like, yeah, that's why people that's trade and money and economic access and stuff. That's one of the primary reasons people have gone to war over the course of human history. That and religion, you know, are like the two main things humans have fought over for thousands of years. And so, like, yeah, it totally makes sense that a big ass war might be threatened, you know, and that this like trade federation, you know, and the separatists, you know, would be bankrolled by all these like corporate entities and stuff because, yeah, that's what people fight over. They fight over money and access to resources and trade, stuff like that. I never got as much into the clones as individual characters. I know a lot of people are really passionate about the characters in the Clone Wars TV show, but like I said, I had a really hard time. And I know that, and people have said, I have friends who love the Clone Wars, and they said like, okay, yeah, the first couple of seasons are pretty tough to get through, but it gets better. And I don't know. I just don't know if I want to sit. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, sorry, Victor. Okay, so we have Spike's favorite characters from Star Wars are Ahsoka, Anakin, Starkiller, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. And he says, as for characters in general, it'd probably be mostly clones. But yeah, I just share. Absolutely, like that's what we should do. But you know, people are more complicated than that, and the world is more complicated than that, and a lot of times it leads to bad business. And the great thing, and not the great thing about those conflicts, but the thing about those conflicts is that because they are realistic and they are real, when you're trying to tell a story, you can use those realistic conflicts, those realistic premises when why people fight to make your story feel more grounded.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
So I think that was a really smart thing for George to do. Honestly, in my opinion, was to use the Trade Federation and all that stuff as a reason for fighting. Because even though, like, yeah, it's stupid. Money is a stupid reason to kill people. I'm not saying I agree with it, but like, if you look at actual human history, that's the kind of stuff people fight over, you know. And so to use that in your space fantasy setting as a reason why people are about to go to war makes perfect sense to me. I'm all about it. Okay, real quick, I just need to look up where I can find some of these titanium. Qui-Gon Jinn, great character. Also really expanded on by expanded universe material. I love that. Again, another great character concept that was just not communicated very well in the movies, I don't think. You know, he's like the father figure that Anakin needed and didn't get. And then he got stuck with Obi-Wan, who Obi-Wan's a great guy, but he's like a big brother. You know, he's not a father figure to Anakin. He's a big brother figure. and so Anakin just never has the respect for Obi-Wan that he the relationship with Obi-Wan is not one of mentor and student. It is of older sibling, younger sibling, and that's one of the, and also the whole Jedi Order just completely fails Anakin ultimately. Like they just totally fail him. And Qui-Gon could have been the guy that saved him, you know, and I think that stuff is really cool and interesting, and I'm glad that Dave Filoni got an opportunity to expand on that stuff. Yeah, that's what I've heard that, and like honestly, it's stuff that I won't say that I'll never watch it. I don't like to think that about like I'll never do that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not much of a watcher. I have my ADHD makes that kind of passive, more passive like entertainment really hard for me. I get bored very easily unless I'm like super keen on whatever it is I'm watching. So I'm like wandering around with this thing, like recharges some batteries before I go out and look for those the titanium. Yeah, I heard a lot about that stuff, and it's cool. And I am glad that these characters are getting expanded on. It's just a shame that like they had to get expanded on in order to become like fully fleshed out characters. You know what I mean? It's that, you know, it's for fans of like the setting, the universe. It's a lot easier to like take that stuff in stride and like take it in like your assessment with the setting. But for like more casual viewers and stuff who aren't going to read the books, who aren't going to read the comic books and stuff like that, they really get shafted. You know, it's like, so it's one of those things where it's like, for people like you and I who are like into the expanded universes and stuff like that, it's cool to see that stuff. But for a lot of people, they never get that clarification, and so it's just still just like they're just bad because they're just like, you know, the Phantom Menace and really the whole prequel trilogy is just kind of badly written. You know, like those, especially the dialogue is really bad. And, you know, with that being said, good dialogue is hard to write. As a writer and somebody who likes to tell stories and stuff with D&D and working on my own fantasy setting, I have a big fantasy setting that I've been working on for like a year. We'll continue to be working on it for a long time. Dialogue is really hard. Good dialogue that characterizes the people that are talking is tough. It's really, really hard to not just write generic shit. So, you know, I get it, but yeah, see, like those are the things that's like, it's there for the fans, and it's really cool that we can know about that stuff and get to see that stuff. But there's so many people who only ever watch the movies that come out in the theaters and they never get any of that stuff, and they're the ones who I think have the greatest disservice done to them, you know, because or like, you know, the bad writing of these characters is the greatest disservice to those people. Not, and it is more okay, the actors first and foremost, but secondly, those people who don't actually get to see the actors, you know, potentially giving like really great performances. Because I think one thing that can be said, like, I don't think that Hayden Christensen is a bad actor. You know, he hasn't been in a lot. I haven't seen any of his other stuff that isn't Star Wars related, but he was given a bunch of really bad fucking dialogue. And as a young guy trying to make his way as an actor in an extremely competitive and cutthroat industry, that didn't do him any favors, you know. George's bad script writing. So those are the people that I feel the most sympathy for like the actors, because one, they're the ones who get harassed, you know, and have their fucking lives and careers ruined. Like Billy Joel, or what's the kid who played young Anakin? I can't even remember what his name is, but you know, that poor kid had his whole fucking life ruined because he was given a bad script and didn't get good coaching from George, you know, and like the acting coaches and stuff on the team. You know, he hates Star Wars because he just got harassed about it so much when he was younger, and I don't blame him for that at all. Okay, that's salt. I feel good about being in here, though. There's a lot of minerals in the mushroom forests. Ahmed Best. Who did he play? I'm not familiar. Oh, I did watch the Kenobi show, that miniseries. I thought that was fun. Oh, Jar Jar. Yeah, I can imagine he got just absolutely fucking mauled, which is just so unfortunate for an actual human being to have to endure that stuff. It's just like, guys, it's not real. It's all fake. It's made up. Don't make these things so much a part of your identity that when they are not the thing that you personally wanted them to be, you get upset. That's too much. Be more of an enjoyer, not a fan. That's why I don't like fans. Fans take things too personally. Enjoyers are just here to have a good time. And if it's not good, I'll just stop watching it or playing it, and I'll do something else with my time. And that's it. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, you got another crack at a better character. That's good. Because Jar Jar, I frankly don't think could be redeemed. I think he's just a bad character, no matter how you wrote him. I think he's just a bad character, and whoever was going to play that character was going to get screwed. All right, Titanium, where are you? Oh my God. I'm finding lithium. I'm finding copper. This is so weird because this is normally stuff where it's like, no, you're finding titanium or when you want to find something else. The one character that you have on there that I do really have to disagree with, though, is Starkiller Spike. I got to disagree with you on that one. To each their own, but I really think Starkiller is not good. I don't like The Force Awakens were fun games, but like the story in them is very silly and very dumb, and I don't like that it's like we have to retroactively make him more important, so let's make him his family crest, the rebellion symbol. Like that all feels so forced to me. And also he died, and we can stop with the clones. I don't like when someone's like, he was cloned and he came back to life. I think that's a really lazy storytelling trope. If a character is dead, unless it's really, really important for the story to continue, like Jon Snow's resurrection in that's coming in A Song of Ice and Fire. I have not watched the show. I love the books though. That is important. That has to happen for the story to progress as it needs to. It's like how Rob's death at the Red Wedding needed to happen. It's not just senseless killing of a fan favorite character. It needed to happen because how else does Jon become king of the North if Rob is still alive? You know, like Rob's not going to abdicate. That's not how that works. And even if Rob were to abdicate, he would have allies and supporters that would refuse to allow him to, and would potentially even seek out, in a hypothetical situation where his people knew his brother, Bran and Rickon were still alive. Even if Rob abdicated, they would they would be significantly more likely. Like there's a whole story arc in the books where one of the great northern houses is trying to they've learned that Rickon Stark is still alive, and they're trying to bring him back from his place of hiding, so that he can be the king, the next king in the North. Victor, I only saw Force Awakens. I didn't. And which I thought was fun at the time, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that it wasn't. The more not realize, but the more it bothers me. Because like when I watch it, I was like, okay, I know what's going on here. This is lazy and stupid and kind of weird, but it's fun. So whatever. But the more time goes on, the more it bothers me that they did it like that. And that was the only one of the new trilogy that I watched because I just didn't care, honestly. Like I just didn't get hyped at all for most, and I still don't really for a lot of the Disney era Star Wars stuff. I watched the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian mostly because I was like, oh, they're actually gonna fucking show Mandalorians like the way they're kind of meant to be portrayed, and it's not just gonna be a silly little they're not I don't know, they're not gonna rewrite it was like, oh, they're really not gonna just rewrite the Mandalorians, and they're gonna bring them in as they were in the original novelizations of the expanded universe stuff, and as how they wrote them in the Clone Wars show. So when I saw that they were going to do that, I was stoked about that. And then they did the whole thing with Grogu, and I was like, oh, that's a really satisfying end to a story arc. Nice. And then they brought Grogu back for season 3, and I was like, wait, what? I thought we were done with this. Grogu's great, but he was a gimmick. He's not really a character. Mando is the character. And I want to see Mando do more different things. They could still have him go and be, maybe be Mandalore, have him with the Darksaber and all that stuff. He could do all of that without Grogu there. So I don't know. That them bringing Grogu back was kind of like, oh, we're just doing this for the toys now, for real, aren't we? That's a bummer. And I try not to be that cynical about media because it's not healthy. And a lot of times, there are forces behind the scenes that are pushing for things that can be marketed as toys and merchandise and stuff. I think most honest writers and creators will try and find ways to make those things fit and be actually a good part of the story. And I think they did that with Grogu in the first 2 seasons, and then after that, it was just kind of oh, yeah, we just got Baby Yoda, and we're just gonna have Mando's just gonna kind of walk around holding him up, and everyone is gonna be like, look, remember this guy? He's the reason you like this show, right? And it's like, no, I like this show because it's got a cool Mando cowboy in it. That's why I like it. Yeah, I know. I get that, and here's the thing. That can change. Those Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, he starts off not wanting to be king. He's actually very opposed to being king, but by the end of the movies, it's different in the books, but by the end of the movies, he's like, okay, you know what? Even though this is not what I would have chosen for myself, humanity needs someone to rally around. And there isn't a better choice than me. So I will do it. And they could have given him an arc like that, the sort of the reluctant leader, which can be a very good arc. Again, this whole Aragorn's whole shtick is being a guy who doesn't want to have power, but ultimately realizes that there really isn't anybody more suited for it, or that can be trusted with it, or that in the sort of medieval feudal mythology of the kingdoms of Numenor and stuff. No one else has the claim as strong as he does. And even though it's not something he has personal ambitions for, he realizes that it's for the best. It's the right thing for him to do because the people of Middle Earth need him to do that. And they could have done something like that with Mando. He wouldn't be something where he has ambition to take the throne, but circumstance leads him to realizing that maybe, given who else is available, maybe the fact that he doesn't want it is the reason for him to take it. The Boba Fett show was weird, man. I don't even remember a whole lot of the specifics about it. I just remember feeling like the pacing of it was just so strange. It just jumped around so much. And we had a whole, the Boba Fett show was 6 episodes or something? And they had a whole episode of it that was just, oh yeah, here's Mando. It's wait, what? I'm watching I thought this was supposed to be its own show, but no, I guess it's just a weird Mandalorian spinoff, apparently. I watched it once because I do like Boba Fett, and I do. I'm forgetting the actor's name. I do think he's really cool. The guy who plays Boba Fett now, very cool dude. I'm glad that Boba Fett actually has a character these days, because Boba Fett is a character that's like, he's not even really a character, in the original movies. He's just a guy with like a cool helmet and a jetpack, and everyone's like, oh, he's fucking sick. Let me get that. That guy's awesome. And I feel that way about Titus Blackwood in the A Song of Ice and Fire books. He's the guy. He has a raven tree. He has a raven feather cloak, and that's about all we know about him. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome. He's cool as hell." This is the Boba Fett effect. Have some cool piece of armor, and everyone will love your character. Yeah, I mean, dude, Boba Fett does look cool as hell, even in those old movies where it's the 70s and 80s, and not everything isn't quite as polished. Like, he still looks fucking awesome. And there's just Titus Blackwood with his fucking sweet raven feather cloak. God, dude, I cannot believe I am not finding any titanium ore. This is very silly. I can't believe this has been this hard. I could have just mined it by hand from fucking limestone deposits. I really thought this was going to be way easy. I was like, I'd walk on the door and there'd be one. But no. Bizarre. Yeah, Boba Fett is cool as hell. Show, very odd. Very weird, but, could be. I don't know if that's ever been described, and I think he's a bit. The Blackwoods in the books again. I don't know if you're familiar with the show, even Spike. So I don't know if I need to make the comparisons, but the Blackwoods are like House Stark, where they are this old family that still worships like the old gods, and so they're a little they're a little like humorless. But he still looks cool as fuck with the sweet raven feather cloak. Aha! No, that's lead. Damn it! I thought we finally found some. Warper! Leave me alone. See, now that I'm in my prawn suit, I feel much safer about exploring these places. You need to leave me. Ah! Amp heal! Shit! I imagine the cloak, though, just automatically sort of does it for him. Like, he doesn't even have to do it. It just sort of happens. Hey! Everything that's trying to attack me, please leave me alone right now. I need to recharge my jumpy bit. Yeah, one of these days I'll do a Wednesday stream and I'll just like talk about shit that I find interesting. And I can talk about all the crazy stuff in the Song of Ice and Fire books that I love. Like and like stupid, like deliberately silly fan theories that are very funny to me. I cannot believe we didn't find any titanium. I'm flabbergasted. Positively flabbergasted. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to my house, and then we'll start. So I'll be starting from my house next time. Oh yeah, I could go. I didn't really watch the Game of Thrones TV show, and I didn't start reading the books until after the show came out and the hype was real. And like I said, I don't really like watching television very much. I get bored very easily because it doesn't engage me as much like a video game does. But I have opinions about the show. I think they did a lot of things that were really good, but they fundamentally didn't understand how magic works in that setting. And as a result of it, they had to just completely abandon a bunch of different pivotal plot points and story arcs and characters that just aren't in the show. And I get that they had to pick and choose and cut certain things and stuff for time and money and budget and fucking whatever. And George, it's it's a well-known fact that George is not a fast writer. If Winds of Winter has been in the works for 12 years or something. So he kind of takes his time, and you don't get to do that with the TV show. But they botched Arya. They botched Jon. They botched Dany. They botched Tyrion. I mean, really, at the end, they just really botched everybody. They did not stick the landing well at all on that show. And trying to write around the magic and use it as possible because the writers of the show are self-professed people who they're not fantasy people. That I feel like should have been a pretty big red flag. Also, the name is a red flag. The book series is called A Song of Ice and Fire, which is a very fantasy's book series name. And the show is called The Game of Thrones, which is a very HBO name, and is only the name of the first book in the series. And it's the book with the least magic stuff going on in it. So I think that kind of is with 2020 hindsight, it's very easy to tell that the magic stuff was going to become a problem, and it did. And the whole show came unraveled as a result. Also, there's no strong Belwas or nimble Dick Crab, which are two of the best C-tier characters in the entire story. Nimble Dick Crab, Sir Creighton Longbow, Strong Belwas, and Sir Raleigh Duckfield. 4 characters that just would have been fan favorites had they been in the show. But alas, we're not. I am super happy that in House of the Dragon, which I have been watching, I'm almost done with the first season, they put in the Muppet Tullies. Which is, if you're a fan of the book series or that setting, you will be aware that during the time period that House of the Dragon is set in, there are 4 Tullys in the Riverlands named Grover, Elmo, Kermit, and Oscar. And that's on purpose. And it's hilarious. And I love it. Because I love the Muppets make everything better. It's a fact. That can't be disputed. That's a hill that I will die on. I will commit genocide on that hill if I need to. But the Muppet Tullys are in the show. And that's awesome. They don't have Mushroom, the court jester, who's the source for a lot of the information we have in the setting about that time period. One of the 3 main sources of information we have. Because one of the fucking sweet things about the books, the expanded books, like the expanded universe books, is that 2 of them are historical, world building books. I actually have one of them here. I'm going to show it off real quick. The cool thing about them is that because they're written in setting by maesters, and the maesters are known to have agendas within the setting, they are written, these books, this one, hang on, I gotta give her my background so you can see. One moment. And also I should just do this. I'm going to stop screen sharing because we're basically done playing. I'm just going to save and call it a night. What's the other thing I need to share on my background? So you'll see just my horrible white sheet behind me. But this book, The World of Ice and Fire, and Blood and Fire, the book that's about the Targaryen history, the dynasty of the Targaryen dynasty, from which House of the Dragon is inspired. It's not there's more going on in Blood and Fire. It starts with Aegon the Conqueror, the first Targaryen king of Westeros, and goes up until the king after the dance, which is what the show House of the Dragon is about, the Dance of the Dragons, Targaryen Civil War. They're written by maesters, and they're presented as being written by maesters. There's a reason why it's a big-ass tome, is because, let me see if I can find it. In here, in the preface, we have this page right here, and it says, "To his most esteemed and gracious lord," and it says, "To his most gracious lord Tommen, the first of his name, king of the Andals and the Rhoynar, and the first man, lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and protector of the realm. Yandel, humble master of the Citadel, wishes thousandfold prosperity now and forever, and wisdom unmatched." So this is a book that's written by a maester, and so is Blood and Fire, or Fire and Blood. And because of that, they have unreliable narrators, because the maesters have agendas. They have their own schemes, and there are characters in the books that don't trust them. Because there are a lot of lords and ladies in Westeros who are illiterate. And who can read and who delivers the messages, writes the messages? It's the maesters. And if your lord is illiterate, you could presumably alter what they said, change things subtly to alter the tone of things, include information that was not previously given, or what, things like that. And so there's unreliable narrators. And Blood and Fire, the section of it that is about House of the Dragon, has three primary sources that are cited in setting. One of them is a maester, one of them is a septon, is a priest, and the other one is Mushroom, a court jester. And it's also very well established in setting that jesters, nobles, will sort of talk freely around jesters, because a lot of them are lackwits and people with various intellectual handicaps and stuff like that, which is, not great. But that creating a setting that's very heavily inspired by real medieval Europe, and using that setting as a way to critique and criticize and comment on these really awful social norms that we still are dealing with in a lot of ways. It creates an environment where you can have characters like Mushroom, who everyone thinks is dumb and, again, a lackwit, actually, who's about as smart as anyone. He learns a lot of, apparently he has access to a lot of secret information that the maesters and the septons don't have. So it gets this really interesting dynamic, especially in that period of history where you have these three different separate sources that they're drawing on, and kind of openly going well, this is what this guy says, and this is what this guy says, and this is what this guy says. And so there's probably something true about each of them. And these two guys actually sort of agree on pretty much everything, but this guy says something completely different. So, it's really interesting stuff. And I love that kind of writing. So, but anyways, thank you for hanging out with me tonight, Spike. Thank you for hanging out, Victor. Thank you for just sort of stumbling onto this channel. I normally am on Wednesdays, but I was filling in for King tonight. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to remember to be on this Wednesday, because I forgot. This is the past Wednesday because I was distracted with something. And I lost track of time. But I'll be back. I might play some more Subnautica next week. See how I'm feeling. I really would like to be able to play Ark, but I need to get some shit set up on my computer before I can start playing games like that on stream, because my computer don't like doing StreamYard and game at the same time. So I want to do some research to see if I can't like run the stream from like my laptop and use my PC to play the game or something like that. You know, there's like some adapter or some kind of cable I need or whatever to get the two things working together. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But good night, everybody. I hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out.